Hey, 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 hey. GM.
Hello.
Hi.
That was interesting. I like
What?
your dance.
That's about as good as my dancing gets. It's just when if I'm in like a club or a concert or something, I'm just doing this.
I have that glitch where it's like a black screen right now, and I can't even see you, but I felt your dancing. How good it was.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good. Kind of weird that you could feel my dancing, but whatever.
Yeah.
GM, what's going on?
You know,
Music here.
things.
There we go.
It's been MoonBirds cooled off a bit.
MoonBirds crashed. That's
I think that no, they didn't crash.
No, I'm kidding.
They pulled back, but I think that relieved some FOMO. Everyone could calm down. I think people, that uncomfortable feeling in the pit of your gut. I think that relieved a bit for people. Is that still the most fabulous cook for anyone who's holding? Yet the FOMO is relieved for anyone who is feeling the coke. So I think that's a good place for MoonBirds right now. Everybody's happy. Happier.
Yeah, sitting at 22 ETH was I don't want to say crazy. I don't think it was out of the realm of possibility. It was obviously a lot higher than we talked about, but yeah, I mean it's so hard. This, so what? Somebody that bought for 2.5 ETH and sold for 12, they're sitting there like, this is great. I just made $32,000 in profit. And then they just watched it double from there. And I think there was a lot of people that was like, what the fuck? What's up, Cambo? What's up, Sandman? GM guys, GM to everybody. How we doing today? How are you guys doing? Too much cope.
No such thing.
It's Tuesday, man. I got fucking dumped on with snow yesterday. Thought that was over. Boy, was I sorely mistaken about that. I don't know if New York got snow or if it's even cold there.
No, it's not. There's no snow here. There is a coin out there right now sitting at a $3 million market cap that's going to go to $10 billion this year. And believe me, you will go harder over that than whatever the hell happened yesterday with MoonBirds or the day before. So.
Which coin is that?
If I knew, you think I'd be here? I would like someone to tell me. Please, tell me in the chat. Please let me know which coin this is. I shall ape.
It'd be like
the show.
Shiba Emu coin.
No, the hot one this cycle was something called Cult DAO.
Cult DAO, okay.
Strange, weird manifesto, and people like this. Again, Ponzi's are about mystery, right? And this thing was really leaning into the we are the secret Illuminati DAO mystery type of thing. And it had 100x in a weekend, and now it's down 60%. So I don't know if it's going to come back, but that was the one of this cycle. And then the Stargate, everyone, all the big boys.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah, I saw that one. Well, you know what? It's funny because there's two. There's two things that really so shrouded in mystery that everybody wants to be in on the one that's potentially theirs. The first one is obviously Banksy. The other one is the Illuminati, right? There's this weird no, I don't know why Illuminati would be creating their own fucking shitcoin or something like that. I'm not saying that they would be, but even the Illuminati NFT that dropped. I mean, I even remember you and I talking about it, right? It was there's something about this. They have @truth on Twitter. They flashed that picture of Jay-Z in one frame on their pre-reveal thing. Just had that idea. There's got to be something more here or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because Bitcoin is mysterious and created by an Anon dev and
that's true. Yeah, good point.
Take down the global financial system, inflation, yada yada yada, nonsense. And then Ethereum came along and NFT. Thank you.
I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about Elon and just Elon being Elon, trolling Twitter, buying it, threatening to sell it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they were talking just about his history of this and all this stuff in a good way, not in a bad way, just Elon being Elon. But they were saying, like, if Elon has ever decided to like go out or like just like run away and, you know, hide on a private island for the rest of his life, just out of the public eye or whatever, like the single greatest thing that he could do as like his last thing is just like on the way out, just be like, by the way, I am Satoshi, and then just delete everything and then just fuck off. Because you would never be able to prove it, right?
Right.
Like, it would be like one of the ultimate troll, because there would definitely be people like, it all makes sense now. And like, I don't know. I just thought that was funny.
Good stuff. Quality. What podcast was that?
I think it was the My First Million podcast, which I used to listen to a lot, but the name's not great, but it's a cool podcast. Just like they just shoot the shit about business ideas and have pretty cool guests on, stuff like that. Pretty good listen.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever. It's actually the podcast that got me into BitClout, which ultimately, I guess, led me here. So, I mean, thank you to
Thank you,
Sam Parr and Sean Purry.
Are they going to launch a collective?
I don't know. He did launch an NFT, one singular NFT, and it was at some point, at any point, the holder of it could either obviously sell it or burn it for, I think it was a 15-minute segment on their show. And it was just one. He's like, and for whatever, they were like, you can come up and you can talk about whatever you want. You can make fucking bird noises if you want for 15 minutes. We don't care, as long as it's not like hateful, harmful, detrimental. It's yours. And so that's out there too. I'd probably find that was an interesting idea, but yeah, so they have one NFT, one singular NFT.
Love it.
All right, man. Well, we got some crypto stuff to go over. It's definitely looking better than yesterday. If you want to hit the old drum roll. GM D-Gens, and welcome back to the April 19th episode 114 edition of the AlphaMint Show. I am your host, R2D-Gen, and I'm joined with me, as always, by Free Market Capitalist.
Hey now.
Yeah. Hey, look, we talked about yesterday. We were in a precarious spot with crypto. Things were looking a little bleak there. We were heading towards treacherous waters at the 2,800 support level, and then Bitcoin breaking down, potentially below 37,000. Woke up this morning pleasantly surprised, and I think that's a pretty good place to start right now if you want to get right into it. Looking at CoinGecko, we see Bitcoin has actually just breached the 41,000 mark. ETH is sitting at $3,061, up 4.2% on the 24-hour chart. And this was a really sharp bounce back, and basically just put back all of the losses that we saw on that Monday morning. So at least something pretty bullish. And as you would put, maybe silencing Goblin Town a little bit. We talked a bit about this in the pre-show too, and you're a little worried that they still feel pretty confident though.
Yeah, we didn't even go to test that 2,800 level, so I would consider that pretty strong. We're at one of my favorite points in markets where the sentiment is bearish, but the technicals are bullish. What that usually leads to is a bear trap and then a rally. I don't know if we just had the bear trap or if we're going to go up to 3,200 again and then go down to 30. Remember, no one's in a hurry here. Coins aren't in a hurry. We're all in this microcosm, and every day seems like 10 years. But I think that the way the medium-term chart looks and the way we've already responded to kind of going under 3,000, getting slippery, and then bouncing back really quickly, it just feels like it is turning bullish again here. So I am on watch for maybe one more bear trap if it happens, unless we just had it, in which case I do think we're finally going to break above that 3,500 level when we get there. But let's see. We need to get back above 32. The chart has flipped neutral again. We were bearish once we are under 3,000. So let us see how it plays out. Coin flip.
Well, April 15th is behind us too, right? The notorious tax season. I know people were even having the discussion with them, you know, pulling their ETH out, trying to make sure that they can cover any of the cap gains that they've accumulated in 2021. So I would imagine in my own mind that there's a huge relief of sell pressure there that we've kind of crossed through too. So I'm not sure if this is a bit of a bull trap or if it could just be off to the races now that people have their taxes submitted, and maybe some people are getting some tax returns that they can pump back into the ecosystem too. Do you think that's on the table over the next month? Or and I know you've mentioned that this is kind of the season that can be pretty bullish.
People love that trope. I don't like that trope. They do it all the time. They happen to be right the last couple of years because nobody had anything to spend their refunds on. Everyone's gonna spend it on travel this year. Nobody wants to be inside. They just let you take masks off on the fucking airplane. People want to get out of the house. This is not going to be the year that everyone stays inside trading shit coins. This is going to be the year that people go out and put their feet in the grass. So I'm not as big. I am not as big a believer as all that stimulus money is going to flow in. Again, it turned seasonally bullish anyway, and I think we just had our stimulus, okay? And it was called MoonBirds, and $100 million just flowed into our market. Get bullish.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing that I was going to say was that, like, you're right. There are these tropes, these things that people love to live and die by. The really funny one back when I first started getting into crypto, that big Bitcoin and ETH run in 2017, 2018 was that Chinese New Year's is here. They get tons of money and this is going to flip the market bullish. And then that market just kept like beating the shit out of everybody down, 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 down. So yeah, it's one of those things that sometimes you look back on it and it just happens to be right, but there's probably a lot more going on there than just one singular event that we want to point to. So I'm going to be watching closely, excited to at least wake up this morning and see it pushing 3,100. It's definitely a good sign. Not a good sign on the Ethereum DeFi protocol. Beanstalk hacked for $182 million yesterday in a giant flash attack. This is a protocol that was used for flash loans. Hacker found an exploit in the contract. He was able to withdraw $182 million in Ethereum out of it. I think they managed to actually get $80 million of ETH through the tornado protocol and extract it out of the ecosystem. But that was a tough look for the Beanstalk protocol, and that is falling into the fourth biggest hack of DeFi. So pretty big loss there, but it doesn't seem to have too much of an effect on the actual price of ETH or anything like that.
Yeah, I think flash loans are so fun and interesting. I've never heard of Beanstalk, but they seem to have lost a lot of money. I guess my only question is it my money or is it their money?
Yeah, I mean,
the bank loses money. That's their money. That's insured. When it's crypto and a crypto thing goes out of business, that's usually my money. So this is the only thing I'd question as a customer. I don't know if people buy their token and stake it where they get their money from, but I guess
yeah, they were just celebrating like a certain milestone in total locked value in the protocol. So I would assume that this was actually people's money. But $182 million, nothing small, no small deal there.
Azar, those are crocolyps. Woo, those are mooning. You are correct, sir. I did check on those last night. They were the talk of the secret kaiju alpha chat.
The secret kaiju alpha chat.
Well,
is there a second?
I've already said too much.
Expecting you to just go offline. And...
you know how these things go.
Yeah, the wink, wink, and the nudge, nudge. Yeah. Blizzard. We mentioned Blizzard Activision was going through a acquisition process with Microsoft. This will be probably one of the biggest purchases in terms of gaming in history. Not probably, it will be. It's the $70 billion acquisition by Microsoft that is expected to go through sometime late this year or early next year. They have come out and said they are not doing NFTs. I have a hard time believing that they are not working their way towards that. as they get acquired by Microsoft. For the time being, I think that it's safe to say we're not going to be seeing any Blizzard IP NFTs or metaverse plays until this all goes through. That being said, once it does happen, and I actually do think it will work. I mean, World of Warcraft is one of the OG metaverses. Diablo, even, kind of ahead of its time, flirted with a real money auction house way back in the day, which was kind of that first idea of actually selling digital goods for real money. The implementation of it wasn't great, but people, even then, if you want proof of concept for NFTs, as early as like 2013, 2012, I mean, people were spending shitloads on digital gear in Diablo. So I got to believe that it's going to be making a shift back in that direction. But Blizzard is the creme de la creme. It's one of the biggest IP holders in all of gaming, except for maybe Take-Two and Grand Theft Auto. And as of right now, they're saying no to NFTs, but it will be coming with the Microsoft acquisition.
And let's think about this for a second, because I think this is kind of profound when we look at, we had talked about this deal when it happened and how it was a response to Web3. And I know people have a proclivity when they're in an industry to think everything in the outside world is a response to them, and the world revolves around their belly button, and how could this be? But we see the metaverse shaping up, and we see that one of the main friction points is ownership. Okay, it's ownership of these assets in the game, and the friction that can be caused when you don't actually own them, when you have the illusion of ownership that is given to you. Okay, this is what we're changing, and this is, I think, going to be the best marketing angle for what we all call now play to earn. Play to earn is not a good way to market these things, because if something's just based off the earn, okay, and it's not based off the play, then we have issues, as we can see in many play-to-earn games.
Yeah, you coined, well, I don't know if you coined the term, but you mentioned the term play-to-own yesterday, and I thought that was a really great statement.
Yeah, and that's what I think you sell this industry as, because you're really playing to own these assets, whether the asset is the token that is the character, whether the asset is the token that is the utility token within the game. You are playing to own these things. Can they be traded for value? Well, that has nothing to do with the underlying companies themselves. These marketplaces spring up. They're third-party marketplaces. Now, there are in-game marketplaces for the items to use with your utility token, but whether these things have value, that's up to the outside world. That is not up to the gaming company or the underlying game itself. So play to own, I think, is how a company like Microsoft, a company like Blizzard and Activision, which Microsoft acquired, is going to approach this. And I think it's how we as an industry should start talking about these games.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? I could even, if I really, really zoom out on my life and go back, let's talk about 20 years or so of playing a game called Ultima Online. And I was young too. This was probably the original MMO. Even just thinking about it now, having this conversation, it just popped into my head. I remember people buying property from in that game, because there was a limited amount of it and thus scarcity, off other players for upwards of $1,000, $1,500 at the time too. And it kind of frustrates me that I didn't have that epiphany later on when I learned about NFTs back in 2018 with CryptoKitties, because I could have gone down that rabbit hole and it would have made a lot more sense earlier. But the transition of time and digital assets and money has existed for so long. And I do think that, we've talked plenty of times about the gamers' hesitancy to actually adopt NFTs. And I do think there's a bit of a smear campaign from some big companies that are holding on to their traditional business models for as long as possible. I do think that there will be that moment, that, watershed moment where they go, oh yeah, we actually have been doing this whole time, and this does make sense, and we actually want that control back. So what Free Market said, that idea of play to own, or I always like the term, and I can't remember who said it as well, is play and earn, right? It's this idea of we've been playing World of Warcraft for this amount of time, and now I can actually, extract some of the value in exchange for all of the time I've put into it. I think those are very profound concepts, and I think that they're going to continue to develop, and I think it's going to continue to make sense to a lot more people.
Yes, sir.
One thing that you guys should all be aware of, if you are using MetaMask on your iPhone or anything to do with, I guess, Apple, MetaMask does store your seed phrase on the iCloud, and there has been a couple of instances of people's iCloud accounts getting hacked through phishing scams. And they are pretty sophisticated. It involves phone calls and people calling up and asking for a code that's going to get sent through and whatnot. MetaMask did put out a tweet. Let me actually just open it up, and I will paste that link in the chat too, because you guys actually should see this. But MetaMask did put out a tweet saying, yes, it does store the seed phrase in the iCloud. You can disable it. So go check out that link, and I would highly recommend disabling it if that is the case and you are using it. But some people were the recipients of losing a lot of NFTs over this because of the social engineering hack that went through on them. And this Dominic guy lost 3 mutant apes, a bunch of gutter cats, $100,000 in ape coin. And, he's out big on this. So, just be careful, be safe out there. As always, the biggest layer of security that is vulnerable is you, the person, right? Like it all starts and stops with you, the actions you take and the awareness that you have at it. So if you start getting phone calls from people, you start getting weird emails and stuff, anytime a seed phrase is involved, pump the brakes.
That was me pumping the brake.
Good sound effect. I was waiting for the crash at the end of it, but
Bernie Madoff's son's verified account was hacked yesterday, and guess what was done with it?
On Twitter?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I didn't actually see that.
The name was changed to MoonBirds.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've gotten so many of those.
Welcome. Amazing. That's what you do with the verified accounts now. It's all NFT scams. Get that ETH, baby.
Yeah, and we wonder why people on the outside looking in say, NFTs are a scam. All right, let's shift into NFTs. Let's talk about MoonBirds. There's some more discussion to be had, I think, surrounding this. One is a big discussion around FOMO and trying to trade these things. But let's talk about the bulk of it. $280 million in volume so far on MoonBirds, almost 75,000 ETH. These things are still moving at an incredible rate for $50,000 assets at this point. But at this juncture right now, with all of the ETH that they raised on the mint, plus all of the secondary, Kevin Rose and the Proof Collective have earned a cool $75 million. Pretty incredible weekend for them. But I want to have a bigger discussion just about FOMO. You brought up a great conversation in the pre-show talking about the cope of watching it go from 12 ETH to 23 ETH and what that FOMO kind of entails. And also this idea that I think maybe there's not a lot of substance in it, but like there may have been some fake FOMO. This is all speculation and it's just a conversation. It's not anything that we're directly implying. But do you want to run through a little bit of that?
Yeah, there was a tweet a couple days ago that showed how you could easily wash trade 60,000 ETH in volume, which it was at the time, with about $5 million. And today you are showing how the VCs who put this together made $75 million. Now, no one is saying they did this, but it's an exercise in understanding how little relative IRL money it takes to manipulate a tiny little segment of a small industry like NFTs. And that is very interesting to think about. And the level that I think some people were seriously charging, and I don't believe this either, I don't know if it's true, but when people see a ton of new wallets being created to buy a project, they get suspicious. Now, it's logical that a ton of new wallets would be created to buy these because these are VCs who aren't necessarily in NFTs or even in Ethereum, coming from, a different world, that this was the hot VC investment of the week. They could buy 10 of these things and it'd be a standard size investment for them in a startup industry. It makes sense. So the FOMO that we experienced over the weekend was pretty intense. I mean, we saw that while people were almost averse to wanting to mint a 2.5, with many of us saying they'll open. I thought they'd open around 5. They opened higher at 7 or 8 and were quickly at 10. But people fast realized that these were the real deal. And those big sales early on and the constant, consistent volume got people who didn't really even believe in MoonBirds to start buying them. There were a bunch of influencers who, maybe they're influencers, but they don't understand the nuances of the NFT market. They didn't do their research. They were scarred by other Dutch auctions that haven't gone wrong. I saw a lot of people in our industry, people I know every day, who are hesitant to even enter the raffle. And I couldn't believe that. It's a Ponzi. I was baffled by this, but it's what you saw. And the moment these started seeing intense volume around 12 ETH, a lot of these people FOMO'd in. Mm-hmm. And as the weekend rolled on and they got up to 20 ETH, it became even more intense. People telling me they were going to sell their mutants at 25 to buy a MoonBird at 23. Well, mutants got over 30. The swords are 15. How would they be feeling about that trade? So maybe you wouldn't wash trade 60,000 ETH in volume. That's a little ridiculous. I think people would figure that out. But you wash traded just enough at 12 to get that FOMO train going, you can cause some pretty crazy shit. Now, again, I am not saying this. I don't think Kevin Rose needed to do this. There was more than sufficient hype, okay? And there was more than sufficient buzz around the VC world to sell this out and have intense secondary volume. But I do think it's a very good exercise in understanding how guys that can throw huge amounts of money at investments that aren't anything compared to what you see in the NFT market on a daily basis can manipulate a lot of things. So,
yeah, I think it's so important to remember, like, at the end of a day, especially with how hyped MoonBirds was right from the get-go. I mean, the second that this thing was announced, people were like, this is automatic cook. We even said, like, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing rip right to 12 ETH. It obviously did, and then just went right off to the races there. And that is one of those frothy top things. But when something garners this much attention, this much hype, and there's only 10,000 of these things, like that, it's just not a lot, right? Like, those things fly, those things move when you only have 10,000 of them out there and you have a lot of outside money wanting to get their hands on them. And as Free Market said, in the VC world, dropping 50K on one of these things is like you dicking around with your friends at the bar being like, oh, check out what I just bought. Let's do, it's like, let's do some shots, like sell it, like whatever. They, they buy 2 or 3 of them. And I was like, oh, I just dropped 150 grand. Like, for some people, that money is play money. That is, their entrance point into a speculative asset. And based on where they come from and whatnot, like, they don't care really if 24 hours later it's lost 20% of its value. They'll just hold it, right? And I think that's, what we're seeing in real time. I think we're seeing a lot of the, I'm going to air quote, the dump happening right now. Just from a lot of those people that either overextended themselves, as Free Market kind of eloquently put the FOMO cycle, like just overextending themselves into it, going as far as potentially selling mutants for that, which has an incredible track record of success and a long-term trajectory of being up, like selling kind of a depressed low on a project so that you can buy an incredibly frothy top is like, that's when you got to like really kind of catch yourself and realize what FOMO is doing to you, because that's when really bad decisions are made. But I think that right now we're just seeing a lot of the pullback because it deserves to be pulled back. It went crazy, but I think a lot of people were just like, "Oh, I should have sold at 21. No, we can do it. Oh, I should have sold at 18. No, we can. It can bounce back." And now they're seeing it at 16, approaching 15. I think a lot of people are like, "Fuck, I need to get out of this now," right? Especially if they bought at like 12, 13, 14. So we're definitely going to see some consolidation. We're going to see these things switch from hand to hand for a little bit. I do think the volume is going to slow down dramatically. I think people are going to start staking these. Obviously, the staking mechanism on MoonBirds is incredibly cool, where it's time based. The longer, the more rewards you're entitled to, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that there's going to be a lot to watch with this, but I don't know about you. I'm not trying to call anything, but I would say I wouldn't be surprised if I saw this thing sort of start to bottom out at like 12, 13 right now, which in fairness was like our high water mark before when we were talking about it.
Well, I will tell you what crypto's response to this weekend has been, as I will read you the top 5 coins on DexTrader. That would be caw, as in caw, squawk, as in
nice, yeah,
crow, chirp, and claw.
All
parts of an owl or sounds people perceive a bird would make. So crypto rolls on. Shout out to the MoonBirds. Yes. Correct.
I actually forgot when I was pulling some stuff up for the show, but I saw this last night too, and I pulled up the MoonBirds Twitter. I guess there was a lot of FUD surrounding the actual mint process of this too, because there were some people that minted right when that thing went live, and there was like one block where the back end and the front end weren't synced, and it caused a lot of failed transactions, somewhere in the tune of I guess right now, with them looking into it, 234 transactions. So they've been in the process of refunding all of that. So they've given back a total of 131 ETH. Very, I don't want to say generous of them, but if it was on them, at least they are making that right for people too. I did see a video of it where like on the website, the countdown had completed. The mint thing went live. They hit it right away, and it kind of shut them down, caused a failed transaction, and burned a lot of their ETH. So I saw people getting pretty riled up about that, but clearly they're making it right.
The number 6 coin is something called Luffy. And while I can't directly relate that to a bird, it does feel ornithological to me. So I'm going to say that there's 6.
Oh my God. I want to say that I remember seeing somebody with a anime poster like in their dorm room wall with like something about a Luffy. Maybe it's an anime coin. I'm sure there's somebody listening or watching that can confirm that. I have no idea what anime that would be. Luffy sounds familiar.
16 ETH worth of Luffy, so
you buy. Okay. Perfect. Well, good luck. Let me know how it goes. Like from One Piece, I don't know, man. You tell me. That's Illuminati. GM. Cool. Yeah, MoonBirds. I'm sure there's going to be more to Luffy as One Piece. There we go. Is that an anime? I guess I'm. See, look at.
Maybe it was a response to the beans.
Which yeah. Hey, we want to talk about beans. Let's talk about beans. Yesterday, Azuki wrote a pretty long thing about the beans, going through it, the backstory, kind of their, I'm going to air quote utility in the Azuki universe.
Oh no, I said squawk. Squawk.
Oh yeah, he said squawk. You didn't hear that? I certainly heard it. Yeah, free market. Let's talk about beans. There were a lot of people when the promo videos were out, like, oh, that's cool. Like, looks like, something, a nice little video. No way that's going to be the art. Doesn't look like Azuki. No way that's the companion drop. It's just a little teaser thing. Whatever. Lo and behold, it was. And there was some definite mixed reactions. I actually think they look great. I don't have any issues with these, but I guess the point of contention was that they do not fit in to the Azuki artwork, the Azuki universe. And there was a lot of FUD around it. It did cause the price of beans to drop, although I don't know how low. I want to say it was down towards 4 for a little bit there. I could scroll back. They got caught and picked back up, sitting at about 5.5 ETH right now. Nothing wrong with that. And Azuki survives another day, as we know it always will. Curious though, is if this is kind of one of Azuki's first kind of missteps. Like, did they misread what the community wanted? Does it even matter? Like, what are you thinking? You probably were on Twitter watching a lot of this happen.
I thought it was very hilarious because there was really a lot of FUD surrounding it in the moments after, and there was some great memes generated by it. The beans themselves dipped down to 4.4 ETH, which is, I want to say, where they kind of opened after the airdrop. But this morning, they were quickly back above 5. I think people got over this idea that the art styles don't match, as they said. And I guess I could, I feel like in people's mind, they thought it would be some sort of pet or like an anime dog or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. They told you it was beans. And it's beans. So I don't know. I think I feel like it was a little bit of panic for a few hours, and in the end, people understood that this was kind of what they said they were going to do. Everyone still seems pretty bullish on Azuki, 23 ETH floor. I wouldn't say it's a misstep yet. I think everything is going according to plan here.
Yeah, Azuki even bouncing back to 24 ETH. Thank you so much, OpenSea. I don't know. I like them. I don't own any of these. I have no physical or emotional attachment to these things.
If you had a physical attachment to any NFT, I'd want to
just plugged right in. No, we'll get there, man. When that brain link kind of comes through, we'll be right in the NFT metaverse. But yeah, I mean, even Dekenza saying thick lines, interesting angle. I mean, if you look at them, they're definitely like a thick line, cutesy kind of art style. Azuki actually does have some pretty thick lines on it themselves, but it's more of just the one outer layer that kind of separates background from foreground. I don't know. Like, I'm looking at this kind of teaser of this Azuki with a bean sitting on it. It doesn't feel super off-brand. They used the right color palette. I think the biggest thing is if they had changed the color palette up, it would have looked way, way worse. But I don't know. I think they look clean. I think they're excited, and I tend to watch all of this FUD go down, and it's mostly from people that don't even hold the NFT anyways. So does it really matter? Maybe some people dumped. Maybe some people lost their faith in it. But for a project that launched in January and has returned this much value to their holders, it's hard not to trust them, I guess. I mean, they've made all the right steps so far. So why would this be any different?
Beans.
The musical fruit? The magical fruit?
It's holding a ledger. Do you see that?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I saw that too. It's a cool little trait there. I like them.
Ledger said, "I see you holding a ledger."
The only thing that I was wondering about is when is the reveal for this? When do these actually pop out? Because we just see
You're asking too many questions.
I want to know some answers. 25,000 ETH in volume traded, and these things haven't popped out of their bean shell. Is it a bean shell?
The devs are doing everything they can.
Devs, do something faster. I don't know. All right, yeah, we got a couple more topics to go over. We can just kind of put it into chill mode and whatnot, but that was the bulk of the conversation there. Veefriends, we talked about the 2-week pre-sale allow list mint process that they're going through. They were on again, off again, on again, off again. 1,000 of them ended up getting minted. They were sitting at like 1.3 ETH and floor. Volume was pretty low. They are, slowly going through their process. They got about 40,000 to get through before the public sale goes live sometime next week. But they are holding a 1 ETH floor. They're starting to move a little bit. So Veefriends is getting off the ground there slowly but surely. And, congratulations. I actually saw a lot of people that were able to mint them from getting on the friends list. So a pretty cool project there. MoonBirds dipping to 15. Why? Well, I don't know. They went from 2.5 ETH to 23 ETH in a weekend. So I think it's not the craziest thing to expect.
Mere flesh wound there.
Pretty good cook last night, actually, and I wanted to talk about it, not because I have any of these. Metacraft was a free mint. A lot of people were talking about another kind of Minecraft NFT integration play to earn, play and earn, however you want to put it. I mean, all of the promo stuff on it looks pretty good. It's, the typical thing you'd expect to see. Critters is still kind of, Critters and NFT worlds, obviously, in the best realm there.
But underlying utility token fell to 2 cents the other day. So I think
Critters,
the block ecosystem may be threatened by new competitors.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I know that Critters just minted out all of their plots. They will need to figure out what to do with all that block that's been earned and whatnot. But they still have a player base there, so people are still participating. But this one launched. I didn't have a chance to do a deep dive into it, but one of the things I did do was, check out the mint page, and they actually had a really cool mechanic, and I kind of appreciate it for a free mint. Actually, I don't know if a lot of you guys remember when you had to claim your looks rare or X2Y2. There were a couple other projects in there where like the yield that you were airdropped from was based on kind of your NFT activity. So the amount of gas you paid, how many ETH in NFTs you spent on OpenSea, et cetera, et cetera. This did something similar, and I thought it was a really cool mechanic for a free drop, just because a lot of times when we see free drops, what happens is somebody catches it pretty early, and then they just sift through all 10 of their wallets and hit mint, get a lot of the supply. This one actually kind of gave you an NFT score where it kind of scanned your ether scan, took a look at how much gas you paid in 2021, how many NFTs you bought, basically just aggregated all of these features into a score. 700. I mean, based on my participation in NFTs, like I was way higher than that. So I don't think 700. It was a overly high score to actually acquire, but it was a nice little gated function to prevent like just people that have created mass amounts of wallets and they don't use them a lot. They just have them for free mints. I thought it was a really neat idea.
Very neat.
Holy lemon sweep. Are we back in January? Yeah, lemons are having a little bit of a move this morning too. I saw that just before the show was going on.
I saw a lot of people in the DGen dojo got in on that. What was it called? Meta block?
Metacraft. Yeah.
Metacraft. Thanks to Maz. So huge shout out to Maz for that alpha. People did very well. So.
Yeah, I mean the project itself, sitting on a 0.11 floor right now. I'll just refresh it. I think we were looking at sales of like 0.3, 0.2 overnight. So for a free mint in for a free mint, it was quite a cook. It's good to see some of those kind of pop back up and see the DGens having a little bit of fun when these things hit.
People pulled some rares. I know some people sold them for 0.3, and hey, free to 0.3. I like it.
Yep. Seeing sales of Ender Dragon Gold went for 0.65 just 19 minutes ago. Volume on this is really great.
Should we call him Moon Maz or Mazbird?
Moon Mazbird. I like Mazbird.
You like Mazbird?
Yeah.
Okay. Mazbird.
Having my own levels of cope with the people rocking their MoonBirds PFPs sometimes, but
yeah.
The lemons, they're getting some volume, 1.15. There you go, big sweep, huge sweep there. Yeah. I don't know who ACD is. Free market, what do you got going on? Oh, well, what do we got going on today? We got Benzinga at 2 o'clock. That's pretty exciting.
That is going to be awesome. Interview with Chris over at Benzinga about the Star Wolves. Love Benzinga. Been a fan for a minute as they are finance facing and having been on FinTwit for a decade. I had consumed much of their content, and today we will be the content. So looking forward to that. You will see the Star Wolves team live on Benzinga. Sometimes I say Benzinga like that stupid show.
Yeah, Big Bang Theory. Yeah.
Benzinga. Yes.
Benzinga.
See you there.
Where is that? We had a link. We'll link to that. There we go. Perfect. I'll drop that in. It is going to be on YouTube, so we have the promo link. I'll drop it in the chat right there. You can come watch us live on there if you want, but really exciting. We're going to be giving away a couple of wolves on there as well. So if you have the time and you want to come check it out and maybe win a Star Wolf, be some stuff up for grabs there. I'm excited to be part of Benzinga. I've been aware of that, and I've used their site. I've been on it, and I always follow them on Twitter and whatnot. And, yeah, like you said, now we get to be the content. Which one? This one in the middle here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that one.
Rainbow vomit. Yeah. The red ones, man. The red ones look clean. I fucking love the red ones. It's feeling good. Had a good spaces about Star Wolves last night too. Of course, Moon Mondays, and we broke down some of the latest announcements, talked through it, talked a little bit about the tokenomics, the partnerships, all of that good stuff. Tons more to come with that. So always looking forward to sharing that with you guys too.
Looks at $1.60 right now. If it can get above $1.60, it should have a nice little breakout. It put in a double bottom. It got up to $3, right? When ETH was at
it had a huge bounce back.
Yeah, when ETH was at $3,500, it was up at $3. Now, obviously, that's partially because ETH was 25% higher or whatever it was. So factor that in, but on a technical basis, looking at the 4-hour chart, and guys, I know you like to get in on those 30-minute and those 5-minute chats. Nonsense. There's no information there. 4 hours should be the minimum you're looking at anything at. If you're trying to use a traditional, people always talk about how technical patterns don't work out anymore. Well, sure. On short time frames, they don't work out because every fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry is day trading now. But on the very long time frames, you get a higher success rate. And it looks like a little nice double bottom going on here in looks, but we'll see. I mean, if we get that one more bear trap, I could certainly see it undercutting that 135 level, putting in a head for the inverse head and shoulders, and then finally finding a bottom. But looking good this morning. Looksing good or looksing good?
Looksing good, yeah. I mean, hey, I still see lots of people using that platform. I think they're slowly accumulating more and more of the base. The yield obviously dropped off a little bit once they cut the rewards in half. It's not as substantial as it was when we were first involved in it and going pretty nuts about it. But I mean, it's still there. It's still... I think it's becoming...
There's only 2 types of people that would sell an NFT worth over 10 ETH on OpenSea, and that's OpenSea employees and idiots.
Well, and that's just it, right? They take a lower cut. When you start factoring in gigantic NFT purchases, that even little 0.5%, 1%, makes a big difference, huge difference. I just want to see what the volume is on these. I would love a side-by-side comparison.
Forget that percentage. We're talking. I mean, you're getting rewards as well. There's still many.
Yeah, if you're a looks holder, right?
For a few years, okay. They've stacked these rewards. People are going to use. I'm very bullish on the looks. And they started a new auto compounder. Okay, so some people may not like this, but when you think about it, it's actually better. They auto compound your WETH into looks. Right. So,
okay.
On first glance, you're like, oh, that means I can't withdraw it. But you could always just sell the looks, and it's gonna be more money because you're getting more looks for. It's auto compounding. It compounds on top of the compounding. So I want to say, if last time I looked, it's 160 times a day the WETH compounds into the looks. I mean, this is. That juices that shit a lot. So yeah. Oh yeah, I love Gem, Clay. Gem is amazing. Gem is amazing. I'm so bullish on Gem. They just add feature after feature, and the UI is so good. You look at Genie now. Genie is skating towards that UI because the UI is so good. We're speculating that Gem and Genie will have tokens. So again, I don't know why you would sell anything anywhere but looks rare, and I don't know why you would buy anything on any other application besides Gem or Genie. I mean, you're literally leaving money. You're being lazy and leaving money on the table at this point.
Yeah, my experiences with Gem and Genie have been wonderful.
They're not just sweeping tools. Even if you're buying one, they save you gas, and that it's part of their incentive. They're literally trying to incentivize you to use them now, so you save money on gas. Think about how much this is going to add up at the end of the year. Don't be stupid. Use Gem or Genie. They don't pay us either one. Who cares? Just use Gem or Genie.
I almost threw up when I saw how much gas I paid last year. Whew. Well, look, and especially if you're like active trading too, right? Like this is that gas is the VIG, that gas is the rake. You got to beat the rake still too, right? Like it's not enough to trade for a little bit of a profit here, a little bit of a profit there. Those you know, the fees on the collection side of it, the fees on the exchange side of it, and then the gas. I mean, they can really eat you alive if you're cutting things really close. I mean, even going back to poker, like you still at the end of the day, you could be a pretty decent poker player, you know, break even, you have some great days, you have some losing days like everybody does, but you know, over a long period of time, it's a self-sustaining hobby. You still actually have to beat that rake too, right? That was a big thing. A lot of people don't consider it.
Yep, the rake will get you.
Get you every time, man.
Women are the biggest rake. Wait, what?
You've been watching Rounders, have you?
Yeah.
Great
That
movie.
is a Rounders line. I don't.
Yeah. Ed Norton.
Don't need any letters or angry. That is a line from a movie pertinent to poker.
In the poker game of life. Yeah, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
there we go.
Et cetera, et cetera. You get it. So you won't even say it. You're throwing.
Nope.
You're like, I'm not repeating that out loud.
I don't know if my wife's watching this. I'm not. Could be. Should be working. All right, guys. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good time to wrap it up. We're approaching an hour. We have a ton of stuff to do, including prep for the Benzinga interview. So that's going to be a good time. Hope to see everybody there. Anything else you want to touch on before I wrap it up? I just want to make sure.
You look pretty damn handsome today.
Thank you. Yeah, last minute wardrobe change. I got to put the white tee on. All right, guys. On that note, crypto bounced back. Nice to see it break above that $3,000 mark for Ethereum. Feeling pretty still going on a run here. I just refreshed it. 31.15 now. So maybe it could be a day for off to the races. Could be a bull trap. Who knows? But nice to see some distance between 2,800. We talked a little bit about the Beanstalk hack. Talked a little bit about Blizzard and the metaverse. Not saying not doing NFTs, but they are being acquired by Microsoft. So there will definitely be more to come with that. Metamask. Is warning people of an iCloud phishing scam. You should go and fix that if you're using MetaMask on your iPhone. Go check out the official MetaMask Twitter for all of the details on how to do that. That is at MetaMask on Twitter, and it will break down how to turn off the backup feature for that. Again, talked about Kevin Rose and MoonBirds. Not only the amount of money that they pulled out of the ecosystem, but the amount of money that has actually entered the ecosystem with a lot of these, you know, wealthy VCs looking to get in on it. I think that this is going to continue to be looked back upon as a good liquidity infusion, and I think the start of a pretty special time in NFTs, as you know. We look forward to it. We also talked a little bit about Metacraft, went on a great run. Veefriends finally kind of actually going through their really, really, really slow mint process. We talked about Azuki and the beans, some FUD about that. Didn't seem to affect it too much. Those collections are still doing fantastic. And then we just kind of riffed on Looks Rare, talked about some things here and there, and of course the Benzinga interview we're doing at 2 p.m. So I hope to see everybody there. Guys, thank you so much for all your support, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Pre-market. Get us out of here.
Good luck at the tables, D-Gens.